Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks to all of you for joining us today from different parts of the world, and welcome to the FIWARE Smart Tourism Day. My name is Ángeles Tejado and I am Senior Marketing Manager at the FIWARE Foundation. Just a few recommendations before starting, please. We ask all attendees to mute their microphones and turn their cameras off during the presentation to avoid connectivity issues. Please also be reminded that this is a live event that will be recorded and available on the FIWARE YouTube channel. Then, by attending, you agree to the recording. This event will include 2 questions and answer sessions, so please drop any question you may have throughout the event into the chat, and if possible, indicating who the question is addressed to. We will do our best to incorporate them in the session. So now starting, for those of you who are not very familiar with us, FIWARE Foundation is a non-profit organization that drives the definition and promotes the adoption of open standards implemented using open source technologies to ease the development of smart solutions in multiple sectors. Now, technology is being injected more directly in our lives, and with most of the world population living in urban areas, the global challenge are put on cities and its citizens to create effective change. We cannot ignore the domino effect of COVID-19 in the global economy, and today more than ever, cooperation towards innovation as well as building strong connections may help public and private organizations to bring efficient results, even outside the boundaries of their regions and nations. In this virtual event, we are bringing together key voices in the tourism sector, which are leading by example to share their initiatives together with real use cases of how cities are transforming their tourism industry. We will also learn from the FIWARE community experts how open source technologies, standard APIs, and smart data models may have a meaningful impact in the market and society. The FIWARE Tourism Day is part of a series of virtual events taking place in the second half of 2020. Covering smart mobility, smart water, e-government, smart industry, and smart cities, among others. So once again, a very warm welcome to all, and please join me in welcoming our stellar speakers lineup, including Dolores Ordóñez from AnySolution, expert in digital transformation and smart tourism destinations. She will moderate our session today. José Ricardo Díaz Ardila from the World Tourism Organization, Andrew Brown from the World Travel and Tourism Council, Matthias Kumm from the DigiConnect, the European Commission, Edurne Vidal López Tormos from Segitur, Inma de Benito from Iberostar Group, Gonzalo Alfredo La Rosa from Instituto Ciudades del Futuro in La Plata, Argentina, Juan Joyero from the FIWARE Foundation, Mark Sanderson from Málaga City Council, Alain Chateau and Stefan Roos from Nice Côte d'Azur, and Christina Brandstetter, our CMO at the FIWARE Foundation, and Ulrich Ale, our CEO at the FIWARE Foundation. In addition, I take the opportunity to thank our premium media partner, Business Reporter, as well as our media partners, Compact List, EU Observer, and Zoom Global Cities for their incredible support in disseminating this event. Now, I would like to introduce you all to the person who will be guiding us through today's virtual event, Dolores Ordóñez. Highly motivated and passionate about smart cities and tourism, Dolores has been involved in strategic plans and programs to support the development of smart cities and smart tourism destinations globally. Her work was carried out at some of the most important tourism municipalities, given her experience in the regional government of the Balearic Islands and in the private sector. She is the Vice President of the International Cluster of Technologies Applied to Tourism, Touristech, and the Vice President of the technological platform Planetic. She is also one of the co-founders of the Digital Innovation Hub of the Balearics. We hope you enjoyed your time with us, and I will now hand over the mic to Dolores. The stage is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ángeles, for this great introduction. It's my pleasure to be here today and to share with all of you this very interesting event. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to make a slight introduction to the event to explain why we are here and why tourism matters. So all of you know that tourism is one of the most dynamic and sensitive industries in the world, and technology and global changes have a speedily and directly impact on it. So you know that all the persons, entities that we are working in the tourism sector, we were always being dedicated to improve the tourism experience. You see here, we have all the data, all the figures from 2018, but even in 2019, the figures were even better, with 1.5 billion international tourist arrivals were recorded worldwide. Despite of big events as Brexit, the fall of Thomas Cook, and also we saw as some movements in big tourism cities against tourism. The numbers for 2020 were very optimistic, but as all of you know, COVID-19 arrived. This situation, this global pandemic, has made that all the numbers that we foresee for 2020 has completely changed. So all our simulations or our forecastings have completely changed these numbers. So the fall of tourist numbers is between 60 and 80% for 2020. In this first quarter of 2020, we have already a 22% drop. So this means jobs are at risk. Economies have been hit hard. Tourism is one of the main industries in many countries, also for the European Union, which is a worldwide leader. And now it's a time never before seen in history, and there is a significant uncertainty ahead. And uncertainty is a big danger for the tourism industry. The worldwide lockdowns have greatly affected mobility. And mobility, as you all know, is the backbone of tourism. And until now, we are trying to make some activities to recover tourism, but we are aware that until we don't have the vaccine, we will have troubles. So we are going to be facing different and constant challenges. Now it's time to work towards the tourism recovery. Until now, and to increase the tourist experience, tourism, as you will know, has been guided by three main issues: safety and security, which were more addressed to the physical one, so to feel safe in these tourism destinations; technology, to increase the tourism experience; and sustainability, with the Sustainable Development Goals or the Green Deal of the European Commission. But now a new topic has taken the center stage, which is safety and security in health. We're speaking about a global pandemic that affects directly our lives. To achieve this, new safety and security in health, the human component is fundamental. We are seeing here the need of awareness, the respect for the rules, wearing the mask, the social distance, everybody's speaking about this new normal. Also technology. This technology that can highly contribute to improve this feeling of safety with different solutions applied through how the world tourism chain. There is already different initiatives from different governments, so I can speak to you directly about the pilots and initiatives that has been already implemented, for example, in the government of the Canary Islands, in the Balearic Islands as pilots for receiving tourists and how can we recover again the normal tourism activities. So also regarding data, so with the candidature of Mallorca as an observatory of sustainable tourism for the World Tourism Organization, with this big impact on knowing what is happening in each moment. So the data economy, so the importance of having data to take the best decisions. And for tourism to recover, it needs a great push. New and fresh ideas. So we, all of you, are invited to bring these new ideas. And a clear strategy. And this is where we come in and why we are here. Of course, open source technologies and standards can contribute can contribute to improve the recovery of the tourism sector. For that, it's important also to mention that within the FIWARE Foundation, we have created a working group with data models, in which we have created a group of smart destinations, smart tourism destinations. And we need to all of us contribute for this balanced recovery of a vital industry in which Europe is a worldwide leader. Today, we are in the FIWARE Tourism Day, and we are delighted to count with the presence of high-level speakers, bringing both from a global to a local perspective on the matter. We were going to have speakers from the United Nations World Tourism Organization offering a global overview, the WTTC, which will offer us a global business perspective, the European Commission, which is going to give us their views on what mechanisms can support recovery, CEFITUR, a national initiative in Spain, which will speak about the destination perspective, the COVID-19 Travel Alliance, which will present a best practice on how strong is the cooperation between the market participants that will help to rebuild the travel demand safely and sustainable. The FIWARE as a sustainable, suitable technology for tourism. And we will have also an example from Argentina with the Institute of the Cities of the Future that will speak about the FIWARE Smart Tourism initiative and how to join it if you are interested. And then we will go to the local level with two case studies that will be presented. Málaga, a Smart Tourism Capital 2020, and Nice with FIWARE applications. We are today 2.5 hours of very interesting topics, interested people. So please contribute, take advantage of the opportunity of having such high-level speakers all together here, and I hope you enjoy the day. Now it's the time to start with our speakers, and we are going to start with José Ricardo Díaz Ardila from United Nations World Tourism Organization. He is member of the Innovation, Digital Transformation and Investment Department at the United Nations World Tourism Organization. I have the pleasure to know Natalia Bayona, which is the person in charge of this department, and all the activities that they are implementing worldwide, which are very interesting. They are engaging startups, and they are working hardly for this tourism recovery. Jose strongly believes in tourism as an exceptional means to develop destinations and generate positive impacts for societies. In his presentation, he addresses how tourism, one of the most resilient sectors, has been affected by unprecedented health, social, and economic impact, and how technologies such as virtual and augmented reality, artificial intelligence, big data, blockchain are helping the sector to turn things around and tackle them to the new norm. So, Jose Ricardo, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So thank you all of you for being here, all speakers, all from FIWARE. For the Innovation, Digital Transformation and Investments Department, it's a pleasure to be here with my representation. And I would love to share with you some of our programs and our vision on innovation and sustainability as the new normal. Currently, what we do in the department is to work with the startups from the innovation side to find different new solutions and different new perspective for tourism recovery, give all the support through our acceleration programs for training on digital skills, and to have our UNWTO Tourism Online Academy very active to continue providing skills all over the world in a free way. And how all of these initiatives are connected through our FDI and non-traditional investments as well, such as venture capital or sustainable investments. This is, like in a brief, what we do, following our mandate for sustainable, responsible, accessible, and inclusive tourism all over the world. Sustainability, definitely, we look forward to continue building this resilience coming from sustainability and this opportunity to have and to reflect on what we have achieved thus far. 1 in 10 jobs worldwide in tourism sector, the inclusion of women with this gender equality of 54% of all people working in tourism being women, and it makes our sector one of the most democratic ones and one of the most leading ones regarding how not only corporations but individuals, tourism guides, SMEs can join this large tourism value chain. And how as well the arrivals that you already mentioned as well, Dolores, have given all this strength to the sector and to spread these benefits to all communities all over the world. Regarding, for example, innovation, we count for the 5% of the total of startups that became unicorns. And definitely this is a motivation to get scaling up all the entrepreneurs, to get more opportunities for them. And we have definitely seen from past crises that tourism is the most resilient economic sector from the major ones. And it means like working towards the value chain and towards all the partnerships. We have seen that we have overcome situations such as SARS, such as the global economic crisis from 2008 and 2009, and how immediately after the crisis finishes, how the sector definitely recovers and comes again to give all these benefits to communities. And we hope to have this same strength and even more in this unprecedented crisis. We know that it has been definitely a quite hard times for all of us. And we have released 5 studies specifically on travel restrictions, but today we have released the latest one, today 30 July, and it means that 40%, I have here 22 until yesterday, but our last release from today, it's 40% of all destinations worldwide, they have already eased restrictions, and for sure Europe leading the way. And it means that definitely people would love to continue traveling, but we always make this call of traveling safely for local communities and safely for tourists as well, in order to manage this uncertainty. And uncertainty that has shown us these numbers that you already mentioned, some of them, about the fewer international tourists, the loss in export revenue, and for sure, all the jobs at risk. But we would love to continue reflecting on how this uncertainty coming to the innovation side may be turned into these opportunities for our tourism sector. And it means, for example, here about the scenarios that we have built according to the available information on how, depending on how these restrictions go into the, like falling during the different months, we are going to see a recovery depending for sure on each of the demand source and each of the markets. And going deeper on it, we definitely see some weaknesses and some threats, but I would love to go deeper on the strength and opportunity from the sector, such as this program resilience that I've talked about, such as the opportunity of domestic tourism and revitalizing all areas around the cities and coming back to rural areas and giving all these opportunities as well. This adaptation capacity coming not only from the consumer side and from the protocol side, but from how to go into the other segments and how to make blended products that could definitely contribute to have a more sustainable tourism while more innovative and at the same time safely. Rethinking the business model, for example, is one of the most important ones, and definitely going into the niche side from the segments and going into this adaptation power that have definitely our tourism sector. And innovation and sustainability, for us, we have built some priorities and some guidelines for the whole value chain, and specifically with our Global Tourism Crisis Committee, coming from different institutions from all over the world, including WTTC, for example, we have put as one of the key priorities of these 7 global priorities, innovation and sustainability as a new normal. And it means going into this support from the corporations, from the governments, and from all institutions to the innovation ecosystem. And it means a flow of knowledge and a flow of investments in an active way, so solutions can come from a new path, and how we can start scaling them up, accelerating them up, so we can have an even more promising future. And open innovation definitely means to go into this interaction actively with the investment side, and how we can provide these new ideas and to be settled and to start delivering impact. In this case, we promote challenges coming from the World Tourism Organization, but as well from different national challenges and from different institutions, as we truly believe that the new ideas are to be at the first part and at the forefront of this recovery and reactivation of tourism. Investments in digital transformation, smart destinations, not only focusing on the transaction, for example, but on the traceability, on the how we can definitely make more no-touch procedures, and to allow definitely a tourism full of opportunities, customization while we're using the technology. It means that we can get to know more the client, more the customers before, and we can start delivering a service even more seamless, if we would love to call it this way, and totally aligned all this innovation to meet sustainability, meaning that accelerating this transition towards a more circular economy, social impact, sustainable and green investments, focusing on low carbon, for example, emissions, tourism, and for sure, measuring the current capacity to allow, now that we stop this great challenge of over tourism, how we can face it in a more sustainable way, and how we can, in the territory, find different ways to spread the tourists and come with the benefits for all in the value chain. And it means, for example, from a UNWTO perspective, that government, corporations, institutions, startups, investors, and academia are meant to be definitely interacting all the time and embracing innovation and sustainability as the new normal. Before, we had innovation and sustainability as key facts that companies and governments, they were embracing, but now they are definitely part of our daily life. And the people who were not inside the digital transformation side is nowadays on it due to the COVID times. So we can take this and take it into this opportunity for tourism. In this regard, we encourage to join the UNWTO Tourism Online Academy. Courses from different universities are going to be continuously open to get this free education from all over the world and in different skills to make recovery even more strong from our tourism sector. And about the competitions and the challenges, we have opened different ones, and we work with more than 5,000 startups, and we have given support to our network, and we have, for example, in AnySolution for Tourism Challenge, found more than 1,000 solutions that are already tested in Ibiza and the Canary Islands, using all these technologies that you are seeing here for traceability, for given customization, for the apps, for security. And it means, and I invite you to follow us in all these challenges, the Hospitality Challenge, the Inspiration Africa Challenge, to keep seeking for solutions in different sides of tourism. And the main one, and just to finish, the Sustainable Development Goals Global Startup Competition that we have launched in cooperation with all of these institutions and corporations all over the world, and that we are looking for all walks of life, all economic sectors, and all ways of innovation, meaning from processes, from technology, from social impact sides, and all these startups meant to have the delivering of impact with possible pilots and matchmaking. We encourage you to spread the voice of the work that we have been developing from innovation and digital transformation from a destination perspective and a startups perspective, and spread the voice to have more solutions and more impact for our tourism recovery. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jose Ricardo, for your great presentation. I think this part of scaling up opportunities for entrepreneurs and how you are engaging the startups in all your challenges. I really would like to invite everybody to participate in your challenges because they are really interested. Thank you so much. We hope to stay in touch with you, and perhaps then in the questions or answers, you will have more time to get more information about the things you are doing. The second speaker is Andrew Brown. Here I want to thank especially Maribel Rodriguez, the Vice President of the WTTC, for always being positive and helping us with all the activities we are implementing. Andrew is a Senior Regional Manager for Northern Europe and Oceania at the WTTC. He's an experienced and innovative figure within the smart tourism industry and has been with the Council for over 3 years. The WTTC members include CEOs, presidents, chairmen of the world's leading travel and tourism companies. Among many areas, Andrew's presentation will focus on the 4 principles for recovery. And I will stop here because Andrew will introduce it. Andrew, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the FIWARE Foundation for inviting WTTC and myself to participate here. It's good to hear that Maribel is very involved with you guys, and she's a very good advocate for our organisation. One event that puts a focus on travel and tourism is just so important right now. Our sector, as everyone is aware, has felt the full force of COVID-19 from the outset. Throughout this presentation, I'll highlight the economic impact that COVID-19 has had on travel and tourism, before underlining the steps that the private sector is calling for to begin the process towards recovery. First though, for those of you who might not be familiar with the World Travel and Tourism Council, or WTTC, please let me begin with a brief introduction. WTTC represents the global private sector of travel and tourism. This year, we're celebrating our 30th anniversary. We were set up back in 1990 by the 4 global tourism leaders you see on the slide. The purpose and mission of WTTC was, and still is, to provide the sector with a single powerful voice into governments, highlighting the importance of travel and tourism and striving for fair economic policy and long-term sustainable growth of the sector. We have over 200 members who are the leaders of some of the largest travel and tourism organisations around the world. WTTC is the only body who represents the whole sector, as our members have operations in every industry and within every geographic region. Here, you'll see a brief insight into who our members are. I'm delighted that Mr. Benito from Iberostar Group is participating here today. Ms. Fluxer, Vice Chair and CEO of Iberostar Group, is a valued and very engaged member within WTTC. Now, since our foundation 30 years ago, we have been quantifying the economic and social impact that our sector has for 185 countries in 25 regions. This is fundamentally what we do, but we also conduct research into important areas and issues of the sector, such as sustainability, visa facilitation, and most importantly right now, crisis management, preparedness and recovery. Using this research at an economic level, it's important to start off and see how travel and tourism was performing prior to the impact of COVID-19. Here are the key data points that we released earlier this year in February, which are the 2019 results. You can see along the top that travel and tourism grew by 3.5% compared to the overall GDP growth of 2.5%. This was actually the 9th consecutive year that travel and tourism has outpaced the global economy. Overall, our sector accounted for 10.3% of global GDP and supported 330 million jobs, which is equivalent to 1 in 10, as has been mentioned in previous presentations. An interesting point, though, to highlight is that of all the new jobs created in the world over the last 5 years, 1 in every 4 was in tourism. which is fairly impressive. I show this slide, and please take note of the figures that you see, as it outlays a significant role that travel and tourism played on a global level. And as a sector, will help the global, regional, and country economies to recover and grow stronger once again, once we're through COVID. Now, on a regional level, here are the numbers for Europe. As you can see, there was just over 37 million jobs supported by travel and tourism, contributing just over $2 trillion US to the region's economy. Now, as I mentioned, these are the 2019 numbers. What I'm sure you all want to know is, how has COVID-19 affected travel and tourism? Well, since the start of the pandemic, WTDC has been quantifying the potential impact that this will have on GDP and jobs across the sector. Here you will see the global picture with two scenarios. The baseline scenario on the left assumes that by the end of July, we would have already restarted domestic and short-haul travel, and with intercontinental travel coming back by September. Under these assumptions, we forecasted that there would still be over 121 million jobs lost, which is from the original number, remember, of 330 million earlier this year. The downside scenario, however, is based on there being further delays to the restarting of travel, with the assumption that there might be a potential second wave. If this is to occur, it will be detrimental to the number of jobs lost and GDP contribution foregone, over 6%, as you can see. Now, as I mentioned the European status before, I'll show you how we have the numbers now. We've also broken this down for many other regions around the world. But for Europe, the numbers are much more significant. Most likely, close to 50% of the jobs would have been lost. And if we continue to go forward as we have been, under the current downside scenario, 29 million jobs will be lost from the original figure that, if you remember, was 37 million in 2019. Given the impact that we've all felt from COVID-19, the question or questions you might be asking is, how can we start taking the right steps towards recovery? Are there any solutions that can help? Well, on that notion, to reduce the major challenges that our sector has been facing, WTDC has, from the start, been advocating 4 core principles for recovery. The first is a coordinated approach between governments and private sector to reopen borders, replacing quarantine measures with corridors or bubbles, and remove barriers such as travel advisories. Secondly, we're calling for a move to a contactless, safe and seamless traveller experience, adding in health and hygiene components. Thirdly, we have constructed with our members and healthcare experts to publish a set of global health and hygiene standards for travel and tourism. Fourthly, but equally just as critical, we are recommending that governments continue to provide support to the sector, given how hard it has been hit and the important role that we can play within the recovery of their economies. These measures include fiscal incentives, interest-free loans, and worker protection, as well as greater investment in infrastructure and promotional budgets. Now, incorporating the first 2 principles from the previous slide for recovery, in collaboration with our members and relevant private sector stakeholders, we have recently produced guidelines for a safe and seamless traveller journey. Now, I'm not going to dive too much into the detail. However, the key points to take away is that the private sector is recommending standards to restarting travel. These guidelines focus on testing and tracing, including test certificates, and contactless traveller journey, which are all designed to fundamentally help rebuild traveller trust and confidence throughout the whole entire world. We've also developed, as I mentioned, industry-specific safe travel protocols. So far, there are 10 industries, which you can see on the slide, with 1 more soon to be added. The aim of our members and the private sector is by establishing these baseline protocols, we can build the traveller's confidence back by ensuring world-leading health and hygiene standards are being implemented for the protection of consumers and employees throughout the whole travel and tourism framework. Now, building on from the industry-specific guidelines and the request from our members to introduce a safe travel stamp. This is to provide a single global indicator for travellers across the world to see that the protocols are in place. These have been endorsed by many important stakeholders across the sector, such as the Secretary General of the UN WTO, as they strive to provide the consistency to help rebuild trust and confidence of the traveller. Finally, and now looking towards the consumer, we have launched our Wear to Care campaign. You may have seen this on our social channels, and this calls for all travellers to wear a mask while travelling or at indoor venues. This is based on evidence provided by Harvard School of Public Health, the CDC, which is the Centre for Disease Control and Prevention, who point out that the impact of masks can reduce the spread of infection, which is significant in what we're really facing here in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew, and also for keeping the 10 minutes. I think the importance of all the activity that you are doing in the WTTC are incredibly interesting and important at this moment. I saw in your 4 principles at the end that this public-private collaboration seems to be a fundamental for the tourism recovery. So we really thank you very much for your presentation. And now we pass to another representative. Now we pass from the international level to the European level. Well, we have the pleasure to have here Matthias Quom from DG Connect of the European Commission. Matthias is an expert in digitizing industries. He is managing the digital agenda of the European Commission, and his expertise spans across a variety of areas, particularly artificial intelligence, industry 4.0, blockchains, and innovation management. Matthias, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to present you what the European Commission is doing with its instruments, and we have also some numbers showing the importance of the sector for the European Union, also that the sector is hit hardest, so I think we all agree on this, and this is also the starting point for the Commission to make this package on transport and tourism available, which includes some steps to help the sector for a better recovery. And what's in this package you can see here. We have different means of support. On the one hand, we want to build confidence among citizens and stimulate the demand with tools like our Reopen website, which shows what are the current containment measures in the different countries within Europe. What do I have to have as travel documents currently? And also it gives you an overview of these patronage voucher schemes with which we want to address the liquidity crunch. So, as I said, the tourism and transport package has different support schemes. One is on building the confidence with websites like Reopen EU and also sanitary protocols. The other thing is that we want to help with tools that improve the liquidity of service providers in the tourism industry with voucher schemes like the patronage vouchers that are also supported by different tourism websites. And we have, as I will explain a bit in more detail, different measures to restart the tourism ecosystem, which starts, of course, with emergency relief. This has already been done, and now we're in the phase of recovery, but we also have to think about the sustainable future for the tourism industry and what is the new normal that was already mentioned by different speakers. Well, that's a bit difficult, but it's still planned, the European Tourism Convention, where we want to discuss this roadmap. And what is central for us, especially as I'm from DG Connect, you can imagine, is that we embrace all digital, because digital has shown very helpful during this crisis in different sectors. It is a good opportunity to react quickly and also to offer touchless services and in general deal better with these new realities. So all these measures that we have started before the crisis to support digital transformation showed to be very useful now also during this crisis. One thing with which we support this digital transformation, our digital innovation hubs, they are especially addressing small and medium-sized enterprises and help them to adopt digital tools. And in the pandemic, they also gave guidance what is needed for SMEs to continue their business, starting with simple things as online working tools, conference tools, and so on, but also tools that help to reorganize value chains, to have a better customer contact with these new tools. And well, sometimes they seem simple, but they were very helpful in this first response phase. Now we are in this reboot phase where we also see how good we can progress with companies that already have basic digital skills to now improve their offerings and adapt them to the new normal. And we have also started, but this is only in the beginning, think what this means now for new business models, which maybe make use of robotic solutions and such things. And we have also done this with our digital innovation hubs that are active in tourism. We have more than 30 digital innovation hubs active in tourism. Dolores leads the one on the Baleares. And here we also started with things we already had in our pockets, like the thinking here about what artificial intelligence can play in hospital industry. But with this new situation, this got even more important as it is a good tool to improve agile customer services, quick response with chatbots and personalized advice, because this high insecurity means that you have much more requests and much more answers to give. And we also have started brainstorming what this would mean for the service offering. And we have also had some very specific measures. So, for example, our digital innovation hub, DIH Hero, started call on robotics solutions, especially for the health sector, because it was in the beginning mainly the health topic in the foreground. And there some disinfection robots were developed, and they were used, they are used in hospitals, and they are also now increasingly used also in the hospitality industry. But in other calls, we also had topics like what can we use for crowd management, how can we improve booking systems, and also chatbots, as I mentioned. Also the role of digital menus to enable this touchless service delivery, and also the role of robots I've already mentioned. Here you can see once again the digital innovation hubs that are specialized on the tourism sector. And in the tourism package, we also announced a dedicated hackathon to develop quickly digital solutions for this tourism season. And this hackathon took place beginning of July, and there we had 130 contributors from across Europe and also Israel who developed solutions to address really the current challenges in the tourism industry. And we also think that with the new Digital Europe program, where we want to increase the capacity of these digital innovation hubs, they will be even better prepared to react on these changing demands and help with digital solutions that support this low-touch economy. Here you can see a few. Well, most of them are robotic ones because here the picture is maybe a bit more appealing, but most of the solutions are really data-based and digital, completely digital. And what is important is that these digital innovation hubs will always be flexible enough to react on these changing demands, because currently it's difficult to foresee what this will mean for the new normal, for the upcoming normal. Will we have a rise in localism and staycations, as you can see on the left-hand side? Will we still have this social distancing measures in the next summer season? Well, there are a lot of uncertainty, and to deal with them better, it's good to have such hubs that can give you advice on how to make best use of digital technologies. And with that, I want to conclude. Here you can see the links to the information with different measures, especially with measures helping to make use of innovative digital solutions. We have already started to support these small service providers in the tourism industry, and we are looking forward to even increase this in the future. So thanks, this was it from my side.
Thank you so much, Matthias. A very nice presentation speaking about this sustainable future for the tourism industry. I think it's very important also the role that the digital innovation hubs are going to play, especially in the future programs. And I think these two words, flexibility and uncertainty, that we will have to face in the next years, and we really need these tools, these instruments, just to face these new situations. Now we go from the European level, we move to the national level with Edurne Vidal from Segitur. She is the project manager and responsible for the Smart Destination programs, which is a pioneer at international level. She has 14 years experience within the Spanish Tourist Administration, and she's also professor of tourism policy, strategic marketing management, and tourism promotion. Her presentation addresses the ways in which smart destinations are a powerful catalyst for digitization and innovation in tourism. Edurne, thank you very much for being here. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dolores. Thank you very much for FIWARE Foundation for counting on Segitur to participate in this Tourism Day. Thank you to AnySolution for inviting us as well. Thank you all, speakers and colleagues, today gathered here to talk about this very, very important topic today. We have already had an international perspective from the United World Tourism Organization, WTTC, European Commission. Now I'm gonna try to give you a national touch representing Segitur, which is a public owned society, depending on the Secretary of State for Tourism. And so that you have in mind big numbers of the tourism industry in Spain. We are talking about a destination for 84 million international tourists per year, 12% of our national production, and 12%, around 13% of our employment. So you can imagine the huge impact of this crisis on our tourism sector and on our economy. However, long before we were talking about this crisis, we already have been facing many other challenges. And this is how the Smart Tourism Initiative was created, so that we could help destinations reinvent themselves to cope with digital travelers' needs, but also trying to face sustainability issues, economic issues that we already had in our tourism sector. So we have already been working on tourism, on smart tourism, for the past 7 years, and we have moved from a theoretical model to a very practical model, but we had to start at some point. We have to start at the very basic of the model. What is a smart destination? And risking to not coping with today's topic, the smart destination is not only about technology. Technology is going to be the lever, the key strategic asset to cope with the rest, but smart destinations are also about innovation, are also about sustainable development, and they have to be accessible and copes with everybody's needs. So governance is going to be another key issue of a smart destination. So we try to fight against the idea that smart destinations are all about technology. They are, but technology as a key asset to help develop the rest of them. So from that basis, we have built a complete model in which governance is very, very important. We have a smart destinations network. We have already a theoretical model and a methodology to help destinations go to that model. And then we have to have the definition, and what we have to have requirements for each of the different axes that compound the model. And then we have already been working on developing common infrastructures, on fostering normalization, standardization within the tourism sector, and developing different pilot projects to try this methodology and help other destinations join the program and also go to that model and reach and face their challenges. I'm going to give you a slide view of each one of these initiatives to try focus on how this model right now it's contributing to the recovery of the destinations within this particular situation that we are sadly going through. Regarding standards, we have developed the first smart destination standards worldwide, starting with a management system for smart destinations, then trying to help tourism leaders understand what kind of tools and what kind of technology issues they would have to focus so that they could cope with these challenges. So we have been introducing topics such as interoperability and semantics as well, with one specific standard for that, and trying to help as well develop standards for hotels in order to connect them with platforms, with information platforms. So even we have contributed to the approach of a smart tourism platform within the union, with the International Telecommunications Union as well, that was based on the Spanish model of interoperability, which is quite interesting. One of the most recent pilot projects that we have developed was the developing of the standard on semantics for smart destinations, and also we have created guidelines so that tourism leaders can easily understand what improvements they could do on their websites so that they could implement these ontologies. And with a specific particular issue according to COVID semantics, so that they could introduce them in their websites. Another example of these initiatives that we have been developing is the guidelines for recovery for smart destinations that we have created within the Smart Destinations Network, and it gathers many different initiatives trying to help destinations to cope with this specific situation. I invite you all to visit our website in Sagitur if you are interested in any of these issues, so that you can download them directly. One of the topics that has already been mentioned by all the preceding colleagues is governance, and how important it has always been to work together and cooperation within the tourism sector, but today even more. And that is why our smart destinations model in Spain is based specifically on cooperation, public cooperation and public-private cooperation as well. We have developed this Smart Destinations Network so that destinations, administrations, institutions, and private businesses can gather together to contribute developing smarter destinations. As a matter of fact, we are already 150 members. AnySolution was, as a matter of fact, one of them, and it has proved to be one of the most important tools that we already have to help destinations cope with this specific crisis. When I was talking about the theoretical model and methodology for destinations, the first step that they have to do is plan, to know their specific needs, and after that, deploy infrastructure. We have seen very successful experiences, but we have seen some others that have not been so successful. And this is because we tend to construct and build and invest in infrastructure and technologies without even thinking about these issues such as interoperability and many other, and scaling those technologies for our very specific needs. So we are trying to help destinations to involve themselves in this continuous improvement process based on those requirements that cover governance, innovation, technology, sustainability, and accessibility needs. And when they know how they comply with this methodology, we try to help them to build a roadmap so that they can invest properly in the destination. This methodology was fast based on national and international guidelines worldwide, and it has been the opposite right now when these international institutions have recognized our Spanish Smart Destinations model and implementing them in their own initiative. So we have to be quite proud about this Smart Destinations model. So we have already made an effort to cross our guidelines and requirements with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, so that we can help and contribute to comply with this with these goals. And we have already implemented this methodology in more than 40 destinations in Spain. Here you have the spread of the program and a few success projects worldwide. But the most important thing about this methodology is the results we are obtaining about observing what's really going on within the territories, and it's helping us make better policies. So after we work on the destinations, we can get an approach and a measurement, a degree of compliance. And what is this saying about what's going on within the territory? It's saying that we have big challenges ahead. It says that we are coping quite well with governance. It is something that we already did okay within the tourism sector. We are coping with sustainability, but we have 3 big challenges ahead, which are accessibility, which is always a challenge for territories, but also technology and innovation, which are also the most important catalyst to cope with these situations and digital challenges. So we've seen that when we go to destinations, they have really big problems implementing and coping with these requirements. From this methodology, we were forced to review all requirements and try to help tourism leaders to strengthen and meet the most immediate needs of tourists and their own territories. So, because we have seen that all traditional data and sources of information have lost their validity. We've got obsolete models, products, and experiences. We don't really know what new tourists would need. We can imagine, but we don't really know for sure. And even though we all try to draw our own recovery scenarios, the truth is that we live in a VUCA world now more than ever, and uncertainty is the big word of the situation. So we have to stay vigilant, and that's what we are doing within Segitur and within the Smart Destinations network to help tourism leaders cope with this situation. Specifically within the technology approach, we are trying to identify technology for better governance, technology for tourism marketing, infrastructures, connectivity, sensors, and platforms, and of course for tourism knowledge. That is why initiatives such as FIWARE are quite important, because with this kind of platforms and open source solutions, we are going to help destinations build smarter territories. And if we focus on those phases of recovery that we were facing, from the technology perspective, because we have seen that governance is also going to be key. We'll have to have a permanent look at marketing, adjustments. We'll have to cope with safety and security protocols, of course, but I would like to focus just on the technology approach. We thought about 4 different stages of this recovery. The very short term, which was the complete stoppage situation that we faced back in March and April. It was a time to rethink infrastructure and technology tools, to have a look at what we have, to have a look at what we need, and adapt content and real-time information. That's what the tourists were needing, even though they were not really thinking about traveling at that very moment. But just in case they would need that information, that we had to provide them with it. In the short term, we have started adapting our technologies and introducing those technologies within all the tourism chain of value. We are leveraging technologies to avoid contact. So contactless technologies are going to be key now and in the near future. And we'll have to think about target technology platforms to provide real-time information and cope with these data and source issues that we already have. So in conclusion, technology is, of course, going to be the lever to adapt our supply, to cope with environment issues, to help contribute and management and our marketing and knowledge strategies. But of course, planning first and trying to help and never forget about other important axes such as governance, sustainability, innovation, and accessibility. So let's make technology that strategic asset. Stay vigilant and stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Edurne, for your nice presentation. I think this part of reinventing destinations based on these 5 pillars and the fact to pass from the theory to practice has demonstrated the success of this strategy, smart destination strategy, that we can proudly say this made in Spain strategy that now is being exported worldwide. So thank you very much for your presentation. So we have decided to make a very small change with this passing now with the question and answer session, and therefore also recovering the timeline of the agenda. So please, if you have any question for the speakers, make it through the chat and we will make it.
Doris, I can read the question for you. That the fiscal policy approaches the instrument and are often needed in order to create the monetary incentives required for a sustainable and digital tourism sector. So how about the destinations that might not have that, and how can they become digitally attractive and sustainable?
Well, we think that all the tourism policies at the end, they should be based in a public-private collaboration. So tourism is one of the most fragmented industries in the world, in which there are a lot of different entities and actors that are working together to make a smart destination a success. So there are different fiscal policies in all the smart destination. Indeed, the differences between the countries and also within the regions are completely different, and this has an impact, especially on how this money is addressed to the sustainability or other key aspects of a destination. So it could be related, as this is the tourism tax that we are funding in different hotels all over the world, or the entrance to different places, tourism attractions. How is this money addressed to take care of the destination? It's key to preserve the destination and to keep it for the future. So sustainability is a key issue. I think it's a word that almost all the speakers have already mentioned. And then when you are mixing this digital, attractive, and sustainability, is to, as Edurne has said, a smart destination is not all about technology. So the combination of the technologies available with the sustainable policies, it's key to get smart destinations. So I see another question that could be done for, I think, perhaps for Edurne. Edurne, which is the key for the success of a smart destination?
Thanks, Dolores. Very interesting question, because from the very beginning of the deployment of the Smart Destinations Initiative in Spain, we have developing pilot projects so that we could check what precisely were the key success points. And one of the most important ones is not even within the methodology, it's not governance, it's not technology, sustainability. And the most important thing is leadership and commitment, because smart destinations are also about the long haul commitment. They're going to imply many investments for different areas. So this leadership is going to be key. There has to be a person in charge that encourages the tourism sector to follow, and commitment for the long haul, I would say. What do you think, Dolores?
Yes.
Would you like to add anything?
I agree completely with you. So we have another question for Matthias. So are there any new funding opportunities from the European Commission and other public bodies in terms of technology, sustainability, innovation for destinations to tackle the crisis and strengthen the industry?
We don't have a specific program addressing the tourism industry to develop these technical solutions, but we have different more technology-oriented programs, like ones on robotics, ones on data spaces, and so on. And as I want to try to describe in my presentation, a good starting point are always the digital innovation hubs, because they should know what is happening on the European level, and they can bring you into contact with running projects. They can also initiate small experiments where you can test technology. And for these digital innovation hubs, we will have the new Digital Europe program that will start next year. And we're currently in different member states. There are expressions of interest where consortia can apply for this new European Digital Innovation Hub program. Yeah, this is, I think, currently the best way to get in touch with the ones who develop technologies also for the tourism sector.
Yes, thank you, Matthias. It could be great also to see tourism in the future program. So I think we're always waiting for that. So I'm going to make a last question to Andrew. So and we will continue with the next speaker. So then we can continue with the agenda, and at the end we will have again these questions and answers. So Andrew, so we mentioned about this public-private collaboration as a key aspect in your presentation and all the research you are doing and all these studies in which you are highlighting the importance of tourism. But in a practical way, since you are a worldwide entity, how it is working? So and now how it's the application at a lower scale, so at local level or at national level.
Yeah, great. Great question. Thank you for that. So in terms of the protocols that I mentioned, so the 10 protocols that cover the industries with one more soon to come, and the safe travel stamps. Initially, the stamp was available for everyone to take on board and say that they would enforce those protocols. We've taken a slight different option now and providing it to destinations. So at the city level, regional level, or country level to take on the stamp and distribute it to their stakeholders. So for example, I know we have folks on the call from Nice, so they could take on the stamp and then have their local stakeholders apply to be part of that and taking on the safe and hygiene protocols. The collaboration to do that is to ensure that whilst we are over the global level, we're not too sure of who is on the ground, so that the local stakeholders will have the better idea of having that and building the confidence back of the traveler as they move in and travel to places like Nice or Malaga or Spain, etc. So if anyone would like to know more about them and how to become a safe travel stamp advocate, please let me know, and we can put you in touch with the relevant people at WTDC, because we're looking for more destinations to take that on to build the confidence back of the traveler, which means that more people are going to start traveling again.
Yeah, at the end, when you are working at the global level, I think it's very important, this collaboration. So thank you so much, because you are doing a great job on that. So if we don't find any more, well, this comment from with the technology for tourism, okay. We don't see for Matthias this comment. Thank you very much. The Next Generation EU. Okay. So we don't see any more questions, but as mentioned, we will have a next question and answer session after the next speakers. So we will pass to the next ones, and we will start with Juanjo Hierro, which is the CTO at FIWARE Foundation, and how Juanjo will introduce FIWARE and the vision on why we believe that it is an appropriate technology for tourism. So Juanjo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dolores. So thank you for being part of this quite interesting day on smart tourism, smart destination. Dolores was mentioning that technology is not a goal per se, and that is true. Certainly, we have to take a careful look about what are the goals and what are the business models behind smart destinations. But a bit the question I will try to answer and elaborating on what FIWARE could bring is the question about, can technology be an enabler for smart destinations? So in the presentations we have had so far, somehow there is a concept a bit emerging, which is smart destinations are a very good example of why the creation of digital service infrastructures that may help to merge data coming from different domains would be definitely helpful. Helpful, among other things, to bring the kind of experience that we want to offer to visitors, merging information coming from the city, information being handled by the ports where the visitors, through which the visitors arrive, how they can transition and transport within the city, but also through the roads going to destinations which might be in rural areas and so on. How can we merge all that data and how we can provide the sort of digital service infrastructures that the notion of smart destinations require? Well, This is where FIWARE, we believe, provides the very basis for development of smart applications that will help to materialize this concept of a smart destination. Smart destinations and what FIWARE will bring is the ability to gather data from many different sources, might be sensors, might be information systems of different kind, to create a digital twin representation of the real world. That real world where visitors are living their experiences, which is a living real world, constantly changing. And the very basic concept that FIWARE brings is the ability to provide a digital representation of that real world, constantly updated in real time, constantly analyzed, and bringing support to the analysis and process of this information to deliver this kind of smart experience to end users, and the support also of smart decisions by the destination managers. FIWARE, in that respect, is driving two key platform standards that smart destinations and also green economy demands. First of all, the API that is required to get access to that real-time information. What is the location of a given transport that the visitor wants to take? What are the preferences of that visitor? And be able to exploit that information, information about restaurants, their location, price levels, opinions, ratings by the different users. Also, the second concept we want to, we need to standardize for smart tourism and the smart tourism supporting on a green economy is what are the data models, the semantics of this way to describe the world, how I can model a visitor, how can I model a restaurant, how we can model a museum, a bus, all these entities around which processing of information, the different smart application for tourism will be created. I will not elaborate that much on this because later on Gonzalo will come with more details about what we are trying to bring within FIWARE, within the FIWARE initiative. These standards, the API, the data models, we are proud to say are gradually more and more getting adopted, getting endorsed by a number of relevant organizations at global level. First of all, the API has been standardized by ETSI, so we have now the opportunity to refer and to bring support as the basis for this digital service infrastructure, an API that is standard-based. Secondly, there are organizations like ESMA, the Association for All Mobile Operators, that have also agreed that this is the kind of technology that may support different IoT-based solutions like a smart tourism and smart destinations could be. And very important within Europe is the fact that the Connecting Europe facility program has adopted this API, this context broker core technology of FIWARE to bring support to the right time access to information that will be essential for creating the kind of the smart destination solutions of the future. We are also receiving the endorsements of organizations like TM Forum that are collaborating with us in the definition of the data models I was mentioning before. All in turn, trying to help setting up an architecture where through the instantiation of this context broker technology, we will be able to get access to information from the different sources that might be relevant for any kind of a smart solution for smart destinations. This digital service infrastructure, which will keep this digital twin representation of the real world, will be fit by many different kind of organizations and smart solutions, smart cities, internet services like weather forecast services, social networks, smart spaces, smart poles, all these actors that help to build this digital twin representation of the world are essential to be integrated in a common way, following same data models and leveraging on a common standard API for getting access to the information. Based on those standards is how we will be able to enable the flourishing of a number of the smart applications for tourism, for smart destinations, which will be processing that part of the data they are interested in, performing big data analysis, not only considering the current data information, but also all the history that has been accumulated, the preference, etc. Also applying innovative AI techniques and so on. Very important is the vision, the city or the agencies between the different ports and elements we need to integrate may not be the ones that are going to create that killer application for smart destinations. We have to enable open innovation by means of making this data available through a common digital service infrastructure across that works across domains, that works across countries and cities, so that solutions can be developed once and replicated in every domain. Very important also how to incentivize that data is made available for creation of those applications. And here we have to not only think about open data that different public administrations can bring and make available, we have to think about how to create incentives for the private sector to share the data, for the individuals to share data. And one way to do this is by monetizing, enabling monetization of data. Therefore, one also very important ingredient in the architecture we envision and we are enabling with FIWARE is that of creating data marketplaces where the different data providers can expose data resources and be able to monetize them. Last slide to kind of bring a summary of what FIWARE standards will help to boost and how they will enable materialization of the smart destination concept. First of all, because we are creating a common infrastructure with common data models, what we are enabling is that these entrepreneurs, startups, SMEs, very agile companies will be able to create solutions with the incentive that those solutions will be replicated in different cities, in different territories, in different countries, and that will really boost the economies of scale that will support innovation. Second concept is that of supporting multi-site market creation. This is what I was referring to with this idea of making potential data providers find the incentives to share their data, partner with application providers, partners with other data providers to bundle data and bring more value, and this way creating quite innovative and disruptive business models. Right-hand access to the information is crucial, and this is what FIWARE with the standard API NGSI that it supports will enable. Interoperability within and across domain is crucial because a smart destination will not only leverage on smart city data, but data coming from other sectors. And the vision of having these standards will ultimately lead to creation of innovative services that will help to extract better insights by merging data coming from different sectors. And the fact that the data models that the API is common across regions, across countries, will help to share best practices, will help to benchmark the different solutions that have been put in place in each territory, ultimately, bringing better services for the end users. Well, that is a bit summary, and now I think Gonzalo will elaborate further on what we are doing specifically with FIWARE and for smart destinations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Juanjo, for your presentation. It's very interesting to see how a great initiative as FIWARE has focused now in the tourism also, in this part of this to see tourism as this cross-domain strategic industry. So you know that I think it's key for all the destination that we are working for many years in convincing about the importance of data. And now I think the initiatives as the ones you are leading are very important to convince and to demonstrate the potential of the tourism industry. And now we pass to the next speaker is Gonzalo Alfredo La Rosa, is the Executive Director of Institute Cities of the Future. So yesterday they launched the International Fair of a Smart Tourism Destination, a big success, and Gonzalo will speak about FIWARE Smart Tourism Initiative that is currently implemented and explain how open source as FIWARE can contribute to the new paradigms of tourism. So Gonzalo, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dolores. Hi, everybody. My name is Gonzalo La Rosa, and I want to thank to the FIWARE Foundation, of course, Dolores, Angeles, Val, Ulrich, and all the great team that you have over there for allowing us to organize and be part of this webinar. Belonging to the FIWARE Foundation offers us this type of opportunity, right? We are now able to be part of an international virtual event and to show the achievements that we are having in our FIWARE iHub. Yes, I will try to put my camera on here. Now you can see me. Okay. Well, as I said, that is very important to talk about smart destination in this context, in this COVID context. This is the agenda of the session. When we're talking about open source and FIWARE, maybe Juanjo had explained the FIWARE architecture better than me, and in its context, broker better than anyone maybe. So I won't go into these details, but I want to talk about the mission of FIWARE. The FIWARE is it's an open source and sustainable tool around royalty free, as it says. That is exactly the mission of FIWARE institution, right? We can say here that we have a lot of components around FIWARE that are all open source and they facilitate the development of applications across multiple sectors. Juanjo told us about open source and the context broker, and here we show some applications that we can get in a smart destination. That is the symbol of Segitur Smart Destination, where we have a lot of entities called entities in a digital world, as a mountain, tourist experience itself, hotel, beach, the tourists themselves too, and all have an application or service that the FIWARE APIs and the FIWARE context broker can manage their data to help the smart destinations or the tourist destinations to become in better better managers of these data models, right? When we talk about data generation and collection, we have to talk about the importance of data collection. We have to talk about that we could have detailed and accurate information, right? What it means? It means that we can make successful segmentation of all the tourists. We need to know, and keep in mind that we are reopening the tourists, so we need to talk or to speak directly to that tourists, and know about their interests and invite them to our destinations. So that's why we need to have a reflective decision making, having this data managed. And then competitive advantages, of course, because just keep in mind that with the reopening of the tourist market, at that time will be many of all who will compete for the same market, right? For the same cake. And that is so important to having data collected because we have to analyze that. And there are some numbers about the importance of having human talent in analyzing this data. As you see, currently only 0.5% of all data produced is analyzed. The amount of data generated will increase 75 times more than what is currently generated due to the implementation of new technologies. And there will be more than 50,000 million smart devices connected, not only smartphones, of course, connected around the world generating data. So there's very important to have this data collected. And the data generation, as Juanjo talked about it before me, we have a lot of multiple of data generators, and we have to collect a large volume of daily data. Tourists, as you say, maybe launching social networks, structured and non-structured data about tourism, transport, purchases, websites, applications, right? Airlines, airports. There's a lot of data in the context on a tourist destination. Here we see Segitour's model. There's a picture of Segitour's model where we can see in these dimensions that Edurne talk about them better than me. We can see that there's a lot of entities on smart destination that we have to take care about this data, right? And when we see the Invatur, the Valencian Institute of Touristic Technologies on the Valencian community, we have their models about some smart territories like smart beach or smart mountain, a smart town or smart village. And on all these models, we have to collect data from multiple kind of sensors on multiple kind of sources. So what we talk about when we are talking about data analysis on FIWARE, right? As Juanjo talked about the context broker, we can see that, and he tell about the digital twin representation, that that's a context representation from the real world. The most important thing of this digital twin representation and the information that we have in the context broker is just to, not only to capture it, just to process it and to actuate with that data and with that information, just to transform the data into information and the information into knowledge. That is the importance of this data analysis and this smart destination context data. So, as it says below, the destination is in a better position to project new actions and guide the promotion of its destinations. So when we talk about data normalization, and that is one of the core themes or the core targets of this session, I like to talk about Enrique Martinez talking about the data normalization, and Edurne talk about the UNE standards. It talk about influence the behavior of travelers, right? And they talk about to improve their experience and increase their satisfaction and increase the tourist spending, right? What is a data normalization? It is just to standardize the data and, as we said, get better informed and more aware of local tourist management. This is very important, just not only for the public sector, but also for the private sector, for all the enterprises on tourists and all the technology enterprises. When we talk about data normalization in tourism, of course, we can talk about that everything is connected and will be connected in the intelligent digital life. We have in this picture a lot of entities, as like a tourist and a hotel, an attractive or point of interest, a tourist office maybe, and it all goes around a tourist destination that have each of these entities have all a definition of its attributes. That is what we have to standardize. And in FIWARE, yes, of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
When we talk about data models, that is the core thing about this. We talk about tourist attractions. Maybe in FIWARE we have data models about tourist attractions like point of interest or green space, beach, museum. We have also this, or about the environment that could be interested for the tourist things. And we wanted to talk about the Argentine network of smart tourist destinations that we are starting with 115 local governments working on this standardization and normalization of data, because we want to not only just to getting the same digital language with all this with all the attraction and all the tourist providers and the point of interest in the destiny, because we have a lot of stakeholders and different stakeholders. So all the stakeholders in all these local governments, cities and rural villages, we have to talk all the same digital language. That is the importance of this. And the second thing that we are doing in our tourist network is that we have to talk about self-appraisal using one of the UNE standards, talking about indicators. So we are using the key performance indicators that is one of the data models in FIWARE 2. So I wanted to talk about this with you because that is some things that when we are talking about these smart data models, we can get involved in this. And how we get involved with this, and what we are doing now in the FIWARE Foundation. Okay, we created the working group with the purpose of normalizing the smart destination data. Yes, we are based on another UNE standard that is the 1785003, and it's semantics manual. That is a digital semantics manual. We are going to have monthly meetings, and we are going to analyze the multiple data sources and getting involved with another open data initiatives from the public sector, from international organizations, and for the private sectors. And then we are going to get involved with with the front runners programs that FIWARE is getting, collaborating with TM Forum just to get the definition of these common smart data models in collaboration with another cities. So at last but not least, here you have how to join this working group. Just you only have to join the FIWARE Foundation. If you are individual, you can do it for free. If you are a corporate or institutional, you can become a member of the FIWARE Foundation, and then you have to email just to that email address. And so we invite you just to join this working group. And thank you very much. There is one of the public things that FIWARE does with all of us, with all of the IHUBs and the members of the FIWARE Foundation initiative, and that is me. And I only wanted to put it as an example of being part of what means being part of the FIWARE Foundation. So I hope it would be clear, and thank you very much for the time.
Thank you very much, Gonzalo. It has been a very interesting presentation, how you're working with FIWARE on this part of to speak everybody the same digital language. Now we go to the new local initiative. So Mark Sanderson from the municipality of Málaga. She's the International Economic Development Director. And among other things, he's going to explain why Málaga has been awarded with the title of European Capital of Smart Tourism 2020. So Mark, floor is yours.
Great, thank you, Dolores, for the introduction and passover. Good afternoon, everyone from sunny Málaga. It is a pleasure for us to have the opportunity to be here today in the Tourism Day and to be able to participate and to share our experiences given the situation, obviously the status of tourism and how we're all kind of navigating the difficult times. On behalf of the Mayor, Francisco de la Torre, and of course the Deputy Mayor for Tourism here in Málaga, Rosa Sanchez, I just want to thank the FIWARE Foundation for giving us the opportunity to present today. Today, I want to go real quickly. I know we only have 10 minutes. I know it's at the end of the session today, but to talk about, I want to share with you all sort of the status of Málaga and the tourism industry, talk a little bit about our responses given the COVID situation, and then obviously look at some of the solutions around open source and open data that we've been implementing here in the city of Málaga. So just a quick introduction. Of course, you know, Málaga is the sixth largest city in Spain. It's just over 1 million in population. It's here on the Mediterranean Sea, and it's a city that's, you know, it's the birthplace of Picasso and Antonio Banderas, so it has lots of history and culture that has been celebrated over the years. But it's also a technology hub. It's also a transportation hub. It's a very important economic center for this entire region of Andalusia. Most people maybe know or familiar with Málaga because of the Costa del Sol. Málaga is certainly the gateway or the entrance to this region where you find obviously beaches, golf courses, mountains, etc. And of course, the city of Málaga, you know, we're the transportation entrance when you look at the airport, the seaport, and of course the high-speed train. You know, even though we are only the sixth largest city, we do have one of the busiest airports in Spain, and with you know, over 19 million passengers a year. So this has been you know, something that the city has obviously benefited from, having the infrastructure here in Málaga. Over time, though, the city has transformed. It's become not only the gateway to the Costa del Sol, but became actually a city of museums. So we've had a lot of transformation in the downtown area, you know, renovations and improvements in the pedestrian spaces, as well as the museums. We've added several museums. We have over 38 museums now within the city. So you're looking at some of the offers there in Málaga, and this actually helped Málaga really to transform to being a very important European destination, an urban destination. So not only the gateway to the Costa del Sol, but also a tourism destination. And so you can see that here in the graph, we've had a tremendous growth over the last 15 years when it comes to tourism. compared to some of the other cities in Malaga, not only a number of overnight stays and visits, but also the number of hotels that are here within the city. All this growth has been fantastic for the city, but it's also been can be challenging. And thanks a lot to the ecosystem that Malaga finds itself in, the innovative ecosystem that is Malaga Valley. We have lots of high-tech companies, as you can see in this slide here, that have really provided solutions over the years, been a part of sort of the growth and development when it comes to tourism. We have a technology park of Andalusia, which has over 600 high-tech companies there, you can see. But we also have a digital content hub, the Spanish Digital Content Hub here in Malaga. And that hub is focusing a lot on virtual reality, 3D graphics, animation, and a lot of the solutions that are coming out of there are really important for the tourism sector. So we're very fortunate to have this ecosystem to help to complement obviously the tourism offering that we have within the city. We've also been very much involved with smart cities. I know some of the other presenters have talked about the Internet of Things and also solutions around sustainability. Malaga is obviously no stranger to that as well. We've been participating in energy efficiency products, electric mobility projects as well over the years, over the last 15 or 20 years. So you can see some of the solutions that are being utilized here in Malaga using, again, augmented reality, etc. Thanks to a lot of our efforts, we were fortunate to be named the European capital of smart tourism, one of the European capitals, along with Gothenburg for this year. So this is a distinction actually run by the European Commission. And there's it's been running for 2 years now. There have been 30 or 40 cities that present each year in different categories in order to achieve this award. And Malaga is very, very fortunate and very happy to have been awarded the title this year. This is obviously an important award for us because it sort of recognizes all the work that we've done and the projects, the long-term strategy that we've had, which has been focused on smart tourism, sustainable smart tourism. And it also provides us with initiatives to move forward, right? To work together with the private sector and to continue moving forward. When it comes to the award, this group has actually they've created a network of European cities. So not only the winners, but also the other cities that have presented. And we get together and meet. We're actually meeting quite regularly now, given the situation, through virtual meetings once every 2 weeks to talk about and share best practices and look at some of the solutions. The capital European tourism of smart capital is, the European capital of smart tourism is organized around accessibility, sustainability, and digitalization and creative and cultural heritage. So these are the categories that they're looking at. And again, some of the areas that we're sharing our ideas and best practices. This award has actually been extended out until September of 2021, given the current situation. So we look forward to continue working with other European cities and developing smart tourism solutions. Another recognition we've got very recently is to our friends from CETUR. Just last week, we were recognized by CETUR as one of the smart tourist destinations. So we're very obviously proud to be a part of this Spanish recognition and working with our friends there at CETUR. To try to work on the methodologies again around the different points that the Enduri mentioned earlier about governance, innovation, technology, sustainability, and accessibility. So this is again another area what we're very proud to be a part of and focusing on and a recognition. When it comes to COVID, obviously Spain was shut down for several months from the mid-March to obviously the mid-June, and this had a devastating impact on tourism. And so what we did from a city perspective was really try to rally the industry through virtual sessions, virtual meetings, different hotels, restaurants, etc., listening to their problems and concerns and trying to make the most of what their situation was and understand the impact that it was having. The city itself actually organized several sessions with the mayor to look at solutions for a recovery plan. and there were 6 different sessions that were organized, and one of them was focused specifically on tourism. The plan is actually in its first rough draft and will be published shortly, but looking for ways to help that industry. We also created and are following obviously the protocols from the Spanish perspective. So you can see in this slide on the left side, the different protocols that were released from the Spanish government for the tourism sector. We have that easily displayed for the industry leaders to find that. We created a brand, Málaga Mejor que Nunca, Málaga Safe for You, which is an area, an idea. It's a platform with videos and things like that to just talk about sort of some of the things we mentioned before, the safeness, that people can come to the city and enjoy the city. And then also looking at other alternative routes is another program that we've been focusing on as well, which is Discover Malaga. We also organized a Malaga Tourism Challenge, so a hackathon, and you can see some of the numbers there and the people that participated. This was a successful sort of brainstorming event with again the local industry, and we got lots of ideas. And as you can imagine, a majority of the ideas were based on open data solutions. And luckily and thankfully, the city of Malaga has an open data platform, is one of the leaders when it comes to open data, have some of the most number of data sets in all of Spain. Here's the portal that we have. You can see the different categories and areas where we have some of the information available and some of the applications and things like that have been developed. So we were again fortunate that we were kind of already in the first step of having the open data available to allow people to create solutions. Here's an example of one of the solutions that was created, which is around beach conditions and about the capacity for the beaches. So obviously, given the situation and social distancing, certain beaches can only have a certain number of people at any given time. So this is an app that was created here locally and with the University of Malaga. And it gives you, as you can see in the green line there, as far as the number of people that are at the beach, and so you can decide if you can go to the beach or not. So this app uses open data as well as artificial intelligence to sort of estimate the number of people and predict sort of what the capacity will be for the beach. We've also developed a citizen tourism dashboard. This was actually in creation prior to COVID, but it is built on open data and allows citizens and tourists to customize the information that they want to look at when they come to the city. And as you can see, this is a platform that was actually already built on the FIWARE Foundation, FIWARE platform as well. So this is a project that is continuing to develop and in the works right now from the city of Malaga that uses open data. As finally, we also have a chatbot that was created again prior to COVID, but has been used and continuing to develop. A chatbot obviously is a lot easier, perhaps sometimes than a dashboard. So it allows again citizens and tourists to get information directly from their smartphones. So this information, this chatbot is actually it's called Victoria la Malagueña, Victoria being obviously a Spanish name. This information is all pulled from the data sources that you saw before, open source, so allowing again tourists to get access to information directly from their smartphones and not have to go through a platform as well. So and we're also participating in a project around the region of Andalusia with other cities here around Malaga, sharing data. This is a platform that's called the NAC, the network and connecting to share again for the tourism industry specifically. So again, the city of Malaga is very proud and to participate in this project and to have the local tourism operators participate in this as well. So hopefully that gives you an idea, a perspective of what we're doing here in Malaga when it comes to smart, sustainable tourism, how we're using some of the awards and recognitions that we've had to share best practices across Spain and across Europe. In conclusion, some of the ideas that we've thought about is that the industry is really kind of starting from scratch, starting over. So there's a lot of opportunities to focus on where people are getting their data from, where they're getting their information from, and to really redefine the public-private partnership. So people, no longer can go only to the macro websites. They need to get specific information from the cities or from governments. And so there's an opportunity for the cities and governments to maybe capitalize on that connection with the clients and maybe develop a different type of relationship. So in the end, obviously, this information sharing and openness is going to be key for all of this in order for tourism to recover quickly. So thank you very much for your time. I hope that was informative for you all.
So thank you very much to you, Mark. It has been a great presentation. So I think with this explanation, it is clear the well-deserved recognition of the Smart Tourism Capital. And for all of us that knows Malaga, so this great transformation that the city has done is an example for other cities. So thank you so much. And now we go to the last presentation today. It's Alain Chateau and Stéphane Rouge from Nice Côte d'Azur, and they will present this initiative of how Nice is enhancing access to tourist destination, as well as providing travel-oriented aggregation and mobility-based services for tourists and the local population. Very yours.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
So Alain Chateau speaking first. I think that all of you, or most of you, I mean, knows, I mean, the Nice, the Côte d'Azur area, and indeed for more than a century, most of the economy of the Côte d'Azur has been based on tourism. And when Christian Estrosi, so the mayor of Nice, and later, I mean, the president of the metropolis was elected, he wanted to diversify the economy in order to accompany, I mean, the development of the territory. But indeed, today in Nice, about 50% of the jobs are still directly or indirectly connected, I mean, to tourism activity. And as you can see on this map, I mean, the territory of the metropolis, which is a cluster of 49 municipalities, including Nice, is very rich, I mean, from the Mediterranean Sea to the South Alps. And as you can see, we have in Nice, we have beaches, we have 7 harbors, but we have also 5 ski resorts. So we have a very rich territory in terms of tourism activity and attractivity. So I would like to address very quickly, I mean, three challenges which are very related, I mean, to tourism. The first thing is that we have a fragmented access, I mean, to the touristic offer. Today, there are a large number of tourist players with their own data, and beyond, I mean, the data source which are scattered beyond these across, I mean, these players are not homogeneous in terms of data format. So we have this issue of standardizations of the information. The second thing, and something we are seeing, is what I've been seeing for the last years, is that there is a growing demand for personalized travel experience. And there is really a very rapid development of these mobile applications and companions that the people are using to prepare their trip, but also during their stay to organize in real time, I mean, their travel and their stay, I mean, in a place. I mean. And the third one, which is, let's say, magnified or stressed by the COVID-19 health crisis, is this evolution from a mass tourism to a slow tourism. This is a very important trend, I think, for the next years, for sure, with a travel experience which should be more immersive, closer to the territory, its history, the people, and so on, and with a balance between the impact of tourism at social, economical, and environment levels. So what are the three objectives? I mean, I could magnify or emphasize today, I mean, related, I mean, to this FIWARE Smart Destination Initiative. The first one is we want to enhance the access, I mean, to the tourist offer for territory. And especially, we want to increase the visibility of our local point of interest, events, activities, and especially all these micro companies, micro enterprises, which are located in the rural areas. The second thing, as I previously mentioned, we want to unify the access to this data and based on a standard data format and of course, I mean, standardized API. The second point is, and I think was mentioned by previous speakers, is there is a necessity, I mean, to offer a tourist experience which is really based on the context, which means aggregated a lot of services which will be based on the individual needs and profile of tourists. And we want also, because it's very important, tourists are moving a lot between different territories and cities and so on. So it's very important to support, I mean, a continuity of service. So tourists are mobile, and especially you may have noticed we are located close to the Italian border. We are close to Monaco, so the tourists are crossing the border without any concerns. I mean, and very often there is a discontinuity of service. And the last thing, which was I think already mentioned, is we need to offer very qualified information anywhere, anytime, which means reliable, value authenticated, and of course with a secure access and up to date. Very often, I mean, the problem of the information is not up to date. And the second thing, as I mentioned, is this interoperability between information tourism systems across the border. So that's a very important topic. I mean, the three challenges, I mean, we have been and objectives we are addressing, and that Stefan now is going to introduce how we are handling, I mean, these objectives.
Hi, everybody. So NICE is now hosting an IT platform dedicated to the pooling of digital data produced by its different departments, with the daily management of its territory, as well as the data produced by stakeholders. Its architecture is now open, therefore scalable based on standard interfaces and standard protocols to guarantee its interoperability with other territorial or business data platform and allow its regional replication. So NICE is involved in the European High-Risk project. This project demonstrates different ways to involve communities in collaborating, co-creating, and co-developing solutions. The City of Innovation platform supporting demonstrators is based on the FIWARE generic enablers. And this project shows us how FIWARE can help us to develop replicable and interoperable platforms. NICE Côte d'Azur also is involved in the Maritimo project called the Smart Destination. It's a partnership between the region of Tuscany, Sardinia, Liguria, and Nice. And the Smart Destination project aims to establish a digital infrastructure communicating across cross-border territories, so that the user can have access to tourist information on the other side of the border without using another application. So thanks to Smart Destination, this project, a tourist can not only plan a local visit, but he can also prepare his tourist circuit and his visits over several days between the southern region, Liguria, Tuscany, and Sardinia. All the components are FIWARE generic enablers, except the discovery service, which was developed for this project. The discovery service is a mechanism that allows an application to obtain the set of information that can respond to user requests, even if this information is hosted on multiple territories. With this component, if a user is located near several regions, the application must be able to obtain all the information from regional platforms capable of delivering the information that the user is looking for.
So in terms of this access, I mean, to data related, I mean, to tourism activity, it's important to remember that there is three phases, I mean, in a tourist experience. There is, I mean, the preparation, the plan of the tour, and especially now more and more the customization of the tour by the tourist itself. And so you need a certain type of data at that stage. And then you have this personal guidance during the tour when you are on site. And there is more and more tourists, I mean, coming and let's say adapting, I mean, their tour locally. And we want also as a destination marketing organization, the DMO, I mean, we want also to have the capability to offer access to new events in real time in a dynamic way. So that's very important. So the discovery is important. We want also the people to see things maybe they didn't think about when they prepare their tour. And that's why, I mean, we need a lot of information, and especially related to the tourists themselves. And of course, to provide all the assistance which is necessary, I mean, to the tourists when they are on site, which means even data which are not tourists, for instance, where the doctors are, where hospitals, whatever things, I mean, that you could need, I mean, to access it. And then there is something sometimes we underestimate, which is the phase after, when the people are back, I mean, the review they are going to make, I mean, the sharing of information that we do, and all the statistics, I mean, which are very important, again, as a DMO, in order to understand, I mean, how the people behave, where they were coming from, which format, was it a family, was it a single people, couple, and so on. So we have a large number of data which are required for each of these phases in a tourist experience. And now to conclude, I mean, I would like to give just a very prospective vision of where we are going and on which topics we are working on. So what we want is really to broaden the data range that is currently used as of today to enhance the services we can offer. So the first is an extract of what we are working on, but I think it's probably the most significant areas. The first one is we want to really allow, I mean, this what we call digital personal guide or mobile companion, whatever type of mobile applications, to build, I mean, custom thematic tours, which means that it's very important that the informations which are available are context aware, and that the application, so the guide, I mean, the mobile assistant could match, I mean, this information with the personal profile and the preferences of the tourists. And this is an area where artificial intelligence will be very instrumental. And the second thing, we are looking at offering incentives to expand new horizons and experiences. I talk about discovering the discovery of an area, and for instance, adding quiz, adding gaming, and adding bonus points and so on. So things which will be related, I mean, to the local experience, and which will push the tourists, I mean, to go beyond, I mean, their initial plan. The second thing is what we call interactive on-site visits. I mean, you are organizing your own tour, to having the possibility to create virtual assistants based on avatar, for instance, including augmented reality with videos or interactive 3D domains where visiting point of interest. There are a lot of places where you cannot visit everything. There are places, especially now, where you cannot host too many people and so on. And this is a way, I mean, to enlarge, to enrich, I mean, the experience by showing things which are in addition to what you are just seeing. And of course, we rely a lot also on short distance connectivity and IoT, obviously, I mean, to create this very dynamic interaction between the tourist and what he's doing, what he's visiting, what he's observing. And the last thing is more in the term of preparation of the tour. So the phase one, I would say, is a virtual visit. So to include more virtual reality, especially which could be used to prepare, or even on site, I mean, when you don't have the possibility to access to some place, for instance, for disabled people. So virtual visits is also an important thing. And we think that for teasers, when you prepare a tour, this is also important to help the discovery. So again, it's really to enlarge with much more multimedia information, especially in real time and connected real time data, in order to create, I mean, this deeper link, I mean, either on site or in remote, I mean, with the territory. So thank you for your time. I hope we didn't go too much beyond, I mean, the time which was allocated to us.
So thank you very much to you both for the presentation. I think it's very important how you have underlined the importance of data during the tourist journey, and also this fact of the interoperability of the tourist information cross borders. I think there are key topics, and especially in a period like this one. So now we're a little bit running out of time, but we kindly ask you to remind for the question and answers and the closing remarks, just 20 minutes more, and we will be finished this very interesting day. So for the questions and answers, we're some questions here for our speakers. So for example, for Juanjo, in your presentation, you talk about how we need reusable components, interoperable modules, and enhanceable solutions. Juanjo, how does FIWARE specifically come into that equation?
Well, FIWARE brings a number of open source components that you can pick and integrate together to create platforms, the different platforms that a city, that a hotel, that a smart port would need to instantiate to, among other things, share data. This is available for free. It's available on GitHub. You can visit our website and check for information about the components. And yeah, it's everything available, and you don't need, and this is a very important information, you don't need to get all FIWARE components or nothing. So actually the only mandatory component is the context broker that supports the NGSI API standard. But the rest of components are there to, depending on what are the specific, and for different purposes, you may pick a collection of them and create your own platform, which can be instantiated with the warranty that through this context broker technology, you will be able to interoperate with other instances by different providers.
So thank you so much for this answer. So another question we have here for now for Gonzalo. So you talk quite a great deal about how interoperability, the city as a platform, can be an enabler of sustainable digital transformation for the tourism sector. Can you please give us a practical example from Argentina?
Thank you for your question. We have in the Argentine network, we are using the FIWARE Cloud now, just to connect. You know that there are all powered by solutions that we are improving here. Two software. One is a CRM software, just to get all the tourist enterprises of all our smart destination, or not smart yet, but our tourist destinations. We are connecting them to the context broker, and we are going to manage the contact information itself. And then we are, as I said, in the self appraisal, we are going to use that on August 10th, we are going to present it, and we are going to use the FIWARE KPI data model standards, just to calculate the indicators of all our tourist destination in the Argentine network.
So thank you so much. Very interesting. One last question here. It's for Mark. So I think the transformation of Malaga has been an incredible step towards a smart destination, as a smart reference. But how you have engaged citizens in the process, or which is the strategy with regards to the private sector, Mark?
Yes, thank you very much for the question. As far as citizen participation and private sector, as I mentioned, the city has sectorial meetings when it comes to tourism, for example, has sectorial meetings with the different areas, whether it's hotels, restaurants, the museums, and the shops. So we meet with those different, there's some associations, the hotel agencies, for example, get together. So we're in constant conversations with them. We have a tourism forum, which was established over a decade ago, and this is a monthly meeting that gathers these people together. And as I said, we've increased that frequency now given the COVID situation, and divided into different sectors. So we are obviously always listening to the private sector and the companies that are involved when it comes to tourism. When you look at citizen participation in general, we have a department within the city of Malaga focused on citizen participation and integration, and they're the ones that are really responsible for making sure that the information that we're sharing, whether it's related to smart cities, whether related to tourism, is making it to all the different neighborhoods of Malaga and informing them. So it is obviously a collaborative project always, and we're definitely listening to the citizens. I'll also mention the forums that the city organized in the month of June. These were city forums that were open to the entire public, so citizens could participate, add their ideas to the solutions for the recovery of Malaga, not only in the tourism sector, but across the different sectors and industries. So that's how we definitely let the citizens participate.
Okay, so thank you so much. And you're having more questions here in the chat. Perhaps it's a little bit long, so perhaps if you can keep it shorter, or perhaps you can then be in touch with the person that asked it. So it said, in the context of FIWARE meetings regarding tourism being Malaga an European capital for smart tourism, is it Malaga in a better position to cope with COVID-19 scenario than cities has not yet developed a smart tourism strategy? Can you highlight which has been the advantage? Can you elaborate the app related to which capacity, which has been the impact of this solution regarding how agile was the process and which was the impact on other stakeholders such as hotels or tour operators? Well, I think it's a very, very long question, but I think there are a few questions in the same sentence. So you can elaborate just a little bit and then perhaps send a larger answer to the person.
Sure, yeah, that's a complex and multiple questions all in one. No, again, as I mentioned in my presentation, I think the fact that we have open data sets, that we have technology companies here, that has allowed us to maybe respond a little bit faster than maybe some other destinations. But honestly, we're all struggling with the situation and trying to make the best of it. So I wouldn't say that we have an advantage over other cities, but I would say that the ecosystem, the Malaga Valley ecosystem, and the companies that are here, the entrepreneurs that are here, that certainly helps when it comes to brainstorming and coming up with new solutions. Again, the application I showed was the beach solution that was developed here very quickly. So yeah, I think that those are advantages that we have just because of the talented people that are here in our city.
So thank you so much. So we are seeing that there are more questions, but we are running out of time and we have to go to the closing remarks. So perhaps, I don't know, if FIWARE organizers, this will be the opportunity to think in a new FIWARE Tourism Day after summer. But now we have really to go to the closing remarks. And now I will give the floor to Christina Brandstetter, so the Chief Managing Officer of FIWARE Foundation. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Dolores. Then from my side, hello again. You heard me in the very, very beginning. Now I'm back at the very end, just before Ulrich. And wanted to give a few words to build the bridge from what we heard in the very beginning to right now. And I thought that was a very impressive afternoon. Also for the fact that we are talking here about an industry that is really in difficulty, not to say a crisis. And I just read this morning in a post on LinkedIn, posted by the Dublin Tourism Office. They wrote, tourism was first hit hardest, and will take the longest to recover from COVID-19 crisis. And when you think about that, I think because we are all into this, either as a citizen or even working in it, or because we do digital solutions, I think we can all see and feel that. So this is why I'm extremely proud that in today's FIWARE Tourism Day, which was actually meant to show how tourism can recover from this big downturn, that we've really seen over the last months, and that surely has not yet come to its peak in terms of challenges and difficulties, that there is movements that can definitely help. And we've seen very, very concrete solutions for this. That's why I think we can only point out how important open data and open source platforms are, because they can prove and show that a pickup of the industry, thanks to digital solutions, can be much quicker and driven with less cost. And if we can add to this development with FIWARE and the whole ecosystem, with all the people that we've also heard and seen today, to make this happen, then we will all benefit from that, either as a citizen or as somebody that really has to gain his life or her life in this industry. And I want to pick up the numbers that we've seen just in the beginning of this presentation to make us again aware what that means for us, because just in Europe, and this is only Europe, we're talking about almost 38 million jobs in tourism and travel. And we're talking about a GDP that is higher than 2 billion. So we can see this is really a tremendous task just in front of us to make this market again, let's say, a success and bring it back to growth. And I guess we're also, all of us, tourists, and I think we love to travel and be around and see nice new things. So the solutions that we've just seen today will help to make this market again a success. And said that, special thanks again to our moderator, awesome moderator Dolores. Thank you for guiding us through today's day. Also to Argentina, Málaga and Nice, who have really proven that what is possible in terms of digital solutions with open data. And just before Ulrich gives final closing, I want to let you know again that this makes part of a program, this Tourism Day makes part of a program that FIWARE has started some months ago in order to show industry-specific solutions based on FIWARE. We've just done a day in energy and for the green economy sector. Just after summer break, we will have other days for industry, for water, for smart cities, for industry. Oh, I did say that already, for mobility. So there's a few upcoming. If you're interested, bear with us, because we will promote them surely in a wide way, and maybe you have the chance to participate also to those. Thanks also to our media partners. Not to forget here, Compass List, EU Observer, and Zoom, Global Smart Cities, and above all, our premium media partner with Business Reporter. They all support us very, very much in distributing our messages to the world, as you did. So thanks a lot, and we hope this was extremely interesting to you. And with that, Ulrich, I'm handing over to you. Ulrich is our FIWARE CEO, and I'm sure he will have some interesting, very last closing words for all of us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Christina, and thank you to this impressive lineup of speakers this afternoon on smart destinations. Smart destinations where, and I'm very convinced on this, digitization based on context information management will help our smart destination to deliver the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. And finally, smart destinations means sustainable development of areas, and at the same time, interaction and integration between citizens, visitors, and the environment. And finally, based on context information, a digital tourist can move around easier and more safe, and also make better informed informations. And on the other hand, a location, be it a city, be it a rural area, which is not good for its citizens, fails also to attract tourists. And attracting tourists for a lot of our smart destinations means to have the sea in a good shape, to have the forests in good shape, And here digitization will help us. And we need simply to move from vision to action. Digitization is a driving force to reach the sustainable development goals and to create a digital, attractive, sustainable, and inclusive tourism sector. These smart information systems and technologies will integrate a lot of different areas where tourists have contact to, and one platform, one technology will not be able to support all of this. And that's why we as FIWARE are working very intensively on an approach we call a system of systems approach, bringing together different platforms, connecting different platforms, and supporting whole business processes across these different platforms. And this is an approach which is called a system of systems approach. And at the same time, tourists are global, tourists are traveling around, tourists have the expectation to find similar supports wherever they are traveling. And therefore, cross-border interoperable tourist information systems are a must. And here, standardization comes into place, standard APIs, standard data models, standard user interfaces to make a tourist digitally feel at home wherever he or she is when traveling around. So I can simply ask you, stay in touch with us. There are a lot of different channels. There are a lot of different instruments we are providing. If you have not yet registered to our newsletter, visit our website, register for the newsletter to stay up to date. And if you would like to contribute also to the development of the technology, there's also funding available. So open calls, and there will be a lot of open calls coming up. And if you would like to participate in this, don't hesitate to contact us. Finally, also from my side, Dolores, thank you very much for this excellent moderation during this afternoon. It was quite a long agenda for today, but you made it really excellent. And also thank you very much to our media partners, especially to the Business Reporter, our new partner here, our premium medium partner. And thank you very much to all of you who joined us, who stayed here during the 2.5 hours. And now I'm wishing you a great day, and for a lot of you, a great vacation during August, and stay healthy. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.